And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, it's Sheep Ludes. Look, my face isn't as close to the camera today. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it can be if I really wanted it to. But trying to get the whole setup situated. That's why I haven't been uploading the past, I guess it was just yesterday. But it is what it is. Now, look, everyone's starting to love 2K23, or at least, accepting it for what it is at this point. So, what we're going to talk about today are just some cards that I think are maybe flying under the radar for a lot of people that I think are really, really solid, especially for like offline play. Now, look, the reality of the situation is the first 4 weeks of the game are the absolute most pay to win weeks of probably the entire game. I mean, close to it would be like December, right before 250k as well. And then right whenever the top tier cards come out, you know, end games, goats, whatever. Those are probably the 3 times that it's the most pay to win, where I think it's hard to really argue that it's not pay to win at that point. But there are some cards that I think are flying under the radar for a lot of people that are really good. One thing I like to highlight here is just, it's such a small, stupid little change, but such a good one that I think a lot of people aren't talking about. And that's the fact that you can just like look at cards without having to like own them. In just such an easy fashion. I really enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like, I can just click this and just look at, I don't know why I'd be looking at Paul Silas, who for some reason is looking super thick in this picture. Like, I don't really know what's up with that. This is what a man's body looked like back in 1977, dude. You don't know nothing about this. I don't know anything about this. This is not what my body looks like currently. Like, but the fact that you can just look at the cards, and specifically the reward cards, I think is key, because you couldn't do that before. Right, so you can actually get an idea for the cards without having to use like a database or anything like that. I mean, you'll still have to use the database for like the SIGs and stuff like that, but let's be real, nobody knows what the best SIGs in the game are at this point anyway, if there even are any. So it's like just nice. But looking at some cards that I think are slept on, so I'm going to start with the trophy case. A lot of people don't have the trophy case cards, but there are some cards that I think are going to be really slept on in the trophy case that I kind of want to talk about. Number one would be Bargnani. I feel like people are not giving Bargnani love. Like, Bargnani is always like an early game demon, right? And I don't think anything's going to change. He typically has a slow jump shot. So even if his jumper is a little bit slow, I really don't think it's going to be an issue. Most people are pretty familiar with Bargnani at this point. So the key is, man, he's got Hoff guard up, so you're going to be able to shoot contested jumpers. And honestly, the fact that he's 7 foot tall, like, you're going to be able to shoot over a lot of people. He's got Midi Magician, so if you're going to shoot any, like, mid-range shots are going to be good. Claymore, I mean, he's not dribbling with the ball, so he's going to be shooting like standstill jumpers for the most part, right? Bargnani, I think, is sneaky good, dude. Like 93 3-point shot. The 75 ball handle is not ideal, but he can kind of move. Like, if you're pushing transition, like, you can take a few steps with Bargnani. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's really what I look for, at least in my early game big men, is just a little bit of ball handle, so I'm not worried about them like dribbling it off their own feet and stuff, which I don't think that happens. But honestly, if it's too low, I'm kind of concerned that it's going to happen all the time, just because like that's just how I feel. Do you like my cat obstacle course in the back? It's pretty tight. Hell yeah, Katana, go play with that, please. I set that up. I took a bunch of effort. It didn't. It doesn't matter. He is going to be sluggish for sure, but everything else is pretty nice. A lot of people are hyping Mikhail, rightfully so. Richard Jefferson's another person that I think people are kind of sleeping on. The reason I say that is he's shooting guard eligible. You know, he's got a big player build. He's 6'7", but he looks huge, dude. He really does. 86 ball handle, like, he's got good defensive stats as well. He's fast. He can kind of dunk on everybody. Being that rim running is very meta at the moment, I know a lot of people will say mashing is kind of the more meta thing, but I think rim running specifically is going to be very helpful as well. Richard Jefferson probably isn't going to be a bad card. Now, that being said, we are going to get a bunch of wings, as we always do, so it's something to really think about as well. Jeremy Lin, actually, I think is going to be a little bit better than people give him credit as well, especially with that new jump shot. He's not rocking the Gary Payton jumper anymore. If it's closer to his jump shot in 20, yeah, he'll be nice. You know what I mean? He will. Other trophy case guys that I think are kind of slept on, Jermaine O'Neal, if you're going to be doing any like ball, like I was going to say ball control, but like ball handling or rim running with your big man, Jermaine O'Neal might be really good. He does have the stats and badges for that. Ilgauskas, everything I said about Bargnani, I'll say about Ilgauskas too. Like, he's just bigger. Like, he's got a bigger player build in general. Shout out to Lithuania. Brandon Jennings should be good as well. Any other really slept on guys? I mean, Rashard Lewis is going to be a really good 3-and-D wing for sure. This is like a full. I don't know, dude. I feel like a lot of people are hyping Westbrook and a lot of people are hyping Sabonis. I mean, rightfully so, but I think one of the most slept on people in the game is probably going to be Peja Stojakovic, right? The reason I say that, Limitless is super overpowered right now. Like with Gold Limitless, you can shoot from basically half court, right? Like a little bit in front of half court, but half court. Like with Hoff Limitless and the level of 3-point shooting that you're getting with Peja, he could legitimately be stroking it from like legitimately, I said legitimately twice, doesn't matter, the half court line. Just something to think about. I think this is probably the worst division, Southwest. Steve Francis should be really good, but like Brandon Ingram's kind of good, but like Manu, Finley, and Zach Randolph are not really worth it. I think as far as being worth it, I would say the Pacific is probably the best because you're getting Peja, Jordan Poole, who looks relatively good, James Worthy, who looks like one of the better wings in the game, Steve Nash is going to be a competent point guard, and Elton Brand, who's actually like pretty decent, like he is. And then you get Anthony Davis, so he's probably the one you want to go for. Most people are going to go central. You're going to see a lot of Jimmy Butlers because everyone's grabbing like Derrick Rose, like, which I understand. Anyways, on to some more slept on cards, right? There's some guys everyone's been talking about, like Robert Reed. Everyone loves Robert Reed, which like, shout out to my boy Robert Reed for sure. He never gets love, dude. Slick as Jerry curl in the game. I wonder if he has the curl in game. I don't know. I feel like 2K wouldn't change that, so he probably still does. He's good. I mean, 6'8" at the 2 guard. He's big. Like, there's not a whole lot I can say. The badge count isn't great, but he dunks and he's got a good jump shot. You know what I mean? So people are going to mess with him for sure. Del Curry is definitely a player that a lot of people run. I mean, he's super expensive. I wouldn't say he's slept on at all, like in any way, shape, or form. Grant Hill's not really that good, but he's a decent rim runner with a huge badge count, and he can shoot too a little bit. So I think he might be slept on a little bit. DeMarcus Cousins is ridiculous. He's like one of the better big men in the game, honestly. Rolando, people like Rolando too. Kiki is my boy. Straight away. I've seen people say that Kiki is overrated or that he was only good on day one. And I mean, he was better on day one because they changed a lot of jump shots, but Kiki, for his price, is still a very, very good wing to pick up. Like, he's got a really easy-to-time jump shot. He's got a big player build. Like, he can get a lot of rebounds. He rebounds surprisingly well, especially if you're struggling in, like, offline clutch time or something like that. Kiki, being that he's only a Sapphire, too, is going to be very, very helpful for you. Like, no joke. He's got good shooting badges. Like, there's not a whole lot wrong with Kiki. A little bronze range. You want to throw some badges on him? You can. I suppose. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you can. My boy Scott Skiles, dog. Look at my man right here. He's basically Chris Paul, and if he had a better three-point shot, I would say he's actually probably worth using. Looking over at the Volume 1, I guess it's Kevin Love. I was going to say Volume 1, too, which would be Volume 2, whatever. Kelly Chapruka is my boy. He's a card that I recommend picking up just to try out if you like Kiki's jump shot, but he's not like the greatest guy in the world. Rick Smits, though. Like, you need Rick Smits. Like, you do. Especially if you're on next gen, people are just going to paint mash you all day, and it's very difficult to paint mash Rick Smits, bro. Like, Rick Smits is super, 7'4", 250. Like, my man is yoked. Also, he's got a mullet, dude. That's so tight. Like, he looks like a giant country singer, to be honest, which, like, is what it is. It's like if a country singer got inside of, like, a machine that makes you taller. Or if a country singer had the same thing happen to them as like Brandon Fraser and Monkey Bone. It's kind of where it's at. Rick Smits probably had that pipe though. I should not say that, but it is what it is. He's good though. None of the rest of these guys are really that good. I don't think there's any real sleepers. Like Mark Jackson has the dynamic duo of Rick Smits. It doesn't really make Rick that much better, and Mark Jackson sucks, dude. So it's not really worth. I haven't tried Ricky Green out. Some people said he's okay. I don't know though. It's kind of small. Can't really shoot. It is what it is. As far as the Limitless guys, I mean, they're all good. They're the best cards in the game, like through and through. Pau Gasol is probably one of the better big men in the game. I don't necessarily think it's worth picking him up, and the reason I say that is because we've already had the teases for tomorrow, and I feel like we're going to get someone who's a little bit better than Pau Gasol. That being said, next Friday, once we get a new promo set, if we get another big man and Pau Gasol's price starts to fall a little bit, he'll be worth playing because he can shoot, he can rebound, He's actually really difficult to rebound over, honestly. But he's worth picking up. Scotty Barnes he'll be good for now, but I think he'll fall off. You can get him for a couple thousand, sure. All of these guys are way too expensive. They're definitely not slept on for sure. Fred Jones, I just don't like this card. I'm sorry. I don't. Looking at the Series 1 guys, there's actually a lot of good slept on cards. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people using Giannis, which for 30 tokens, he's definitely worth it because he's like a top tier power forward. So if you get 30 tokens, I recommend going to grab Giannis. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Not only just in offline, but in online too. For sure. Like, for sure. None of the Bulls guys I really think are worth getting. Lonzo Ball is actually very, very good for like offline play. Like if you're doing like TT or clutch time, like, cause he's going to match up with all golds. And he's like, I would say he's like an emerald or a sapphire masquerading as a gold. So like he's definitely one of the better gold cards in this game. And if we have to do anything involving golds for limited, he's definitely going to be worth picking up because he's very, very good for sure. This is my favorite little combo in the game right here. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, dude. This combo is nice. Darius Garland, they changed his jump shot. He has a phenomenal jump shot on quick. He's got one of the quickest jump shots in the entire game. I have heard almost no one talk about this card. This card will win you games, at least from an online capacity, by himself. You should pick him up. 15 tokens, I think, worth it. 100% worth it. And then you go and grab Evan Mobley right here. Doesn't make him too much better, but you know, you get some good stat boosts and a lot of badge boosts for Darius Garland. Being that this game is basically green or you miss, you know, having someone who's got a quick jump shot you can get off really fast and a really easy to time jump shot is hugely important. Like, straight up, it is. You're going to be tempted to grab like your LaMelo Balls and like all those guys. And it's not like LaMelo sucks. Like, LaMelo's fine. Like, but, you know, that's the guy. Terry Rozier, by the way, not really a slept on card, but very, very good. Obviously, the domination version would be preferable, but good nonetheless. Just shout out to my boy Franz Wagner. As a gold, like, he doesn't have any badges, but like his jump shot is really easy at the time. I just wanted to say that. Mo Bamba's a good gold too. Like, he is. He blocks a whole lot of shots. If you're trying to block shots, Mo Bamba can hold it down for sure. Trust me, the CPU will swat the absolute out of people all day on a near constant basis. Just so you guys know, I still haven't gotten my cards back from the exhibition, so I would hold off on any exhibition stuff at the moment. It's not particularly worth it. Not a slept-on card either, but Kawhi Leonard, obviously, very good. Paul George, also very good. His jump shot doesn't seem to have changed all that much. Still very easy to time. Release point kind of looks the same. So, I mean, if you're used to Paul George, like, this is a good time to use him. Robert Covington's actually kind of a nasty little gold as well. Damian Lillard would be the other one that I'd recommend getting because he's like a very, very good point guard offensively. You know, I think he might be badge-wise, he's a little bit better than like Darius Garland, but Darius Garland's jump shot is like next level. It's like top tier. I love it. I'm a big fan. It's really good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sucks, dude. Like, his jump shot is awful. It really is. Like, it's bad. It's so bad. I mean, you're going to be tempted to grab LeBron, and for sure LeBron's up there too. He's not a slept-on card, but he's good. Anthony Davis has a massive player build this year. Like, Anthony Davis looks bigger than Shaq this year. Like, so he's going to be ridiculous all year long. People are probably going to be running him at center until we get, like, really ridiculous big men in, like, May. You know what I mean? Not this card, obviously, but, like, Anthony Davis cards in general. That's facts, unfortunately. As far as the reward cards, I wouldn't say there's anything crazy that you need to look for. Like Terry Rozier, very good, very easy to time jump shot, solid badge count. Bobby Portis is a good stretch big for sure, especially when you start to evo him up. He can kind of play the post too. He can defend. He's a good power forward. Cameron Johnson is one of the silkiest jump shots in this entire game, and he already comes standard with some good badges. Look, you're looking at him and you're like, man, he's basically Emerald Gerald Dudley from last year, which is accurate. By the way, where is my Gerald Dudley card? Oh, six-man Sam. I need Gerald Dudley and I need Ostertag in the game ASAP. Anyways, back to what I was doing. Lou Dort's pretty good. I don't know about Phil Jackson. Lenny Wilkins and Greg Popovich. Are those coach cards, I would guess? I don't know, man. It is what it is. These guys are all fine. I mean, obviously, they're fine. Mike Bibby's solid. If you have them, use them. Julius Randle has half bully, which means he's just going to sit there and just bully people in the paint. Julius Randle's actually not bad. It's just the grind for these is so ridiculous. I don't think it's really worth it necessarily. Like, they're all good, but, like, I don't even think Havlicek's worth it, to be honest. That's, like, so many games that you have to play. That's like 100-something games of domination. Like 130 or something. I don't know if I'm doing the math right, but it seems like a lot. I don't really want to deal with that. It seems like quite a bit. Everyone wants Lamar Odom because he's a top-tier wing. It's just, like, near impossible to get him. I have barely seen anyone with Lamar Odom. For anybody looking to get him, I mean, the best-case scenario would be to go draft mode. That seems to be where everyone's been getting them, so it's probably the easiest because it's like an ascension board, so you have the least amount of RNG in the mix, so you have, like, kind of a shot. It's up to you, though, realistically. Chris Mullin and Kevin Love. Kevin Love is probably the most slept on big man in this game, but he's super expensive to get. Same with Chris Mullin, so I wouldn't do it unless you know for a fact you can. Kukoc is really good, too. Look at that sick tattoo. That's so tight. Either way, not a whole lot of cards to talk about. I mean, obviously, we don't have that much in the game. Oh, yeah, Trae Young's pretty good, too, obviously. Like, but the ones that we did talk about, I think, are definitely slept-on cards. If you have any slept-on cards, drop them in the comments down below. Like, who's your early game MVP thus far? I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Anyways, peace.